Hi guys, I have a new video for you today, and we're going to be doing another drawing that involves 3D shapes. We're going to be drawing some pyramids. I was inspired when we were doing the 3D shape video earlier and thought we should use some of those shapes to actually make a picture of something to show you why it might be useful to know those things. So we're going to be using what we learned on how to make the pyramid shape to make these pyramids here, and I'm also going to show you how to make the lines to create the brick pattern so that you can make them three-dimensional, and also when you're coloring how to add shadows to it to, again, make it look more three-dimensional and make it look more realistic. So this drawing is going to be a lot of fun. Just make sure you have a pencil and an eraser to start with and get your coloring supplies, and let's get started. The first thing we want to work on in our picture is making our basic shapes for our 3 pyramids. In the last video I made, I showed you guys how to make some different 3D shapes, and one of those was a pyramid shape. Now this is going to be maybe a little bit easier than what we did last time because we're not going to be drawing that diamond shape to begin with. What you're going to do is you're going to start with this line that goes straight up and down, and I'm going to put it right in the middle, straight up and down, and I'll leave some space above and below. Then what you're going to do at the bottom is you're going to make 2 diagonal lines. This is important. Sometimes people make the line straight. That won't work. You need 2 diagonal lines. Think of it like it's becoming an arrow, or like this is a letter V that's kind of squished. Then, once you've made the pyramid as wide as you want it to be, make a straight line from here to the top. And same on the other side. Now I'm going to make my 2 smaller pyramids. If you want them to be tucked behind, make that straight line closer to the big pyramid. If you don't want that, move it a little bit away. I made it straight up and down, but it's shorter and it's higher up on the page. To make buildings and things like that look like they're closer and further, not only do you make the farther away ones smaller, but you move them higher up on the page, and that makes it look like they're far away. So that one ended up being separate. I'm going to make the next one tucked behind. So I'm going to make the line straight up and down a little closer. So because this is tucked behind, I kind of have to imagine where the end of the line would be. So I'm going to make a diagonal line that just kind of goes behind a little bit. So see, you can imagine where they would touch. It'd be right about there. Okay, now we're going to work on making our bricks that you see here. The important thing about when you make the bricks is you have to pay attention to the angle of the bottom of your pyramid. So the first thing you're going to do, pick a side, it doesn't matter which, and you're going to look at that angle of the bottom of the one side. You're going to make lines that are diagonal that match the angle of this bottom line. I'm taking my time making sure that they're all the same. Now on this side, we want our lines to match the angle of the bottom here. So I'm going to start right where I did this line before, but I'm going to angle up because I'm matching the bottom on this side. You're basically making this line over and over again, but smaller and smaller. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing with my smaller pyramids. And then, if you want to do these little lines that make it look like the separate bricks, which I recommend because it makes it look more real, this one's a little tricky, but think of it like these lines would normally be straight up and down, they'd be vertical. On the side of the pyramid, they need to be slanted. Otherwise, it's going to throw off the whole 3D look. So look at how I do it here. I'll leave the top one empty, the second one a little bit diagonal line. On the opposite side, you can do the same but flipped, almost like a mirror image, okay? On the next one down, I'm going to do 2 lines that kind of are around this first one. And then you do the opposite on the other side. Each time you move down, you either do 1 or 2. As you get closer to the bottom, you can add more, but to keep it easier for yourself, you might just want to think of doing 1 or 2. There we go. So I have the bricks for this one, and now I'm going to do the same on my smaller one. Okay, and I'm all done with that. Now, if you feel like that was a little tricky or confusing, I really recommend rewatch it, slow it down, try it again. It's not too bad once you start to understand it. 3D stuff either clicks in your head right away, or it might take you a little while to get it. I personally, this stuff is confusing for me and it takes me a little while. Now I'm going to draw a wavy line for the sand. I make sure it's above the bottoms of the small pyramids. I'm going to draw some wavy lines on the ground for water. And then my palm tree, I'm going to do it on this side instead. I'm going to do 2 curved lines that get closer at the top. And for the leaves, you can do it one of 2 ways. How I did it is I did a spike, another spike, and then a point. And then I tried to make the other side the same. And then I put a line down the middle. Or you could do the line down the middle first, and then around it do spike, spike, point. Whatever is easier for you. On the trunk, I'm going to do some curved lines just to give the bark. And I'm almost done, but I am going to draw a moon on this one. I'm going to do it on the other side because I don't have space for it on this side. To do a crescent moon, you do like a big letter C and then a smaller letter C inside. And now I'm all finished with my drawing. So, one more thing I'd like to show you with the coloring part that can help make something look 3D is adding shadows. If you notice on this one, it's light on one side and dark on the other. To help make shadows, you want to think which side would have the light on it and which would have the dark. On this one, the moon's over here, and the light side is on the left, which is where the moon is. On this side, though, the moon's on this side, so the light sides of the pyramid would be the right. So I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to color in the right sides of all 3 pyramids to be lighter. And I have this yellowish orange, which is darker. I'm going to put it on the opposite side of where the moon is. So you think of it like that side's in shadow. If you're ever trying to make 3D pyramids and you don't draw a sun or a moon in the picture, then you just pick one side to be shadow and one side to not. Alright, so I'm all done adding the shadows to my pyramids, and as I color in the rest of the picture, it's going to give it kind of a cool look to it where it looks kind of 3D and realistic. So I'm going to get to work coloring in the rest of my picture. Alright, that took me quite a while, but I am all finished coloring in my second picture. I actually love the purple nighttime sky. I was just testing it out to see if it was something I liked, but I think it looks pretty cool. And I think with the orange, it really pops out. So you guys just take your time coloring it in and make it any colors that you want. And just have fun. All right, guys, I hope you had fun drawing your 3D pyramids with me today. I really love this one with the purple sky. I think that was a cool choice, but I'd love to see how you chose to color yours in. So please send it my way if you decided to make one, and maybe think of ways that you could use the other 3D shapes that we learned about in a new kind of drawing. So I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.